Good morning, everybody. We have a great opportunity today. Somebody I've been wanting to come and visit and sit with for a while now, and somebody I've known a long time. And when I was 6 years old, started crab potting with Daddy. He was down there working around us and beside us, and we'd all tie up together down at Mills Marina, down at Seaford, working out of Back Creek. And this morning we're going to get to sit here and have a conversation with Alfred Jr. Owens. Alfred Jr. Owens, born and raised, won't you born and raised in Dandy?
Born and raised in Dandy.
I
tell you, if you want to ask me what kind of living we had, the house we had, though.
So tell me about growing up in Dandy.
Growing up in Dandy, it was nobody much had any cars or anything around there. Model A Fords, I remember them. And at that time, my daddy had a little house and a big piece of land there. And eventually he tore that old house down. No, he didn't tear it down. He let my mother's parents have it. A man from Memphis County, he loaded that little house up and took it further down. Okay, then Daddy come into a lot of money too, wholesale fishing, and his friends that all then helped him build that home. Daddy didn't have to put no money out. That Raymond Shields, Barry Shields, all the people you probably didn't know them. And then it was enough land there for me to live next door to Daddy. 13 foot's all I had. On the opposite side, 4 foot all you could do. People let you do what you want to do, didn't they?
Yeah, right.
You didn't have to have no permits. You didn't have to do none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on getting my own boat. I've had several boats. And mostly oystering up the James River, gill netting, catching fish, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it, really did. So I got pretty well all my life in the water, pretty well, and I enjoyed it.
Were you around when the Riggins were building their boats?
Absolutely. I helped them put them in the water.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Because every one of their boats was built right there.
Right there in the yard. The Anna L. and then Bodie Riggins, he had built it lost, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. I think that I am the last and oldest living person right now. Some of the Riggins was older than me, but I outlived my whole family.
Yeah.
I did, and I enjoyed every bit of it.
Right.
Every bit of it.
Absolutely.
So I love the water. and then I worked like the old Jeanette, and I don't think I got on a Kingfish. I think that boat sunk one time up trying to mob Jack Bay, that's what I heard.
Yeah, that was the end of her. She sunk up there, and that's it. Yeah. She's gone.
Yeah. But then Harry White is my uncle, and his wife Hilda and my mother were sisters, and so then Harry White said, "We're going up James River. Would you like to go with me and haul catch catfish?"
Yeah.
Right in that area where the power plant built.
Right.
Boatloads of catfish.
Mm-hmm.
Took them up to a little further up. The Benzo brothers bought all the catfish up there, you know.
Right.
Yeah. But I caught a lot of fish wholesale, a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know. But my Uncle Willie, my daddy's brother, he worked with my daddy. And then he went to work for the government of Williamsburg. And then I got in working with my daddy.
Yeah.
And Arthur Thomas at times, Arthur Thomas. That's how I got a big share of money, $5,000.
Oh,
he come
boy.
to my house, bought me $5,000 cash money.
I hear that. Yeah.
And so then I drudged the old captain a lot after that. She was a leaky boat too. But anyway, I drudged that boat, and I really loved it.
So how many boats did you say was working out of Back Creek when you was working with Arthur Thomas?
On the Dandy side, there was Winter Dawson. He had a boat named the Louise. Paul Hosby had one named the Clay. And over on the opposite side, it was several boats there. Otis Mills had three that he owned himself.
Right.
And there's a boat named the Lindbergh. And it takes me a while for all that come to my mind.
But Otis had the Alice Glen.
He had the Congress and the Lizzie Sue.
Yeah.
That was three boats.
Right.
But he let his son Cecil Mills work the Congress for a while.
Right.
That didn't last too long. He had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
His dad had put somebody else onto it.
Right. And they had a railway right there too, didn't
It was. And right at the railway is where the little boat slip is now. There was a ball type, what they call a shop that you get in and do whatever what you want to do on the boats and things like that.
Right.
The crab house has been rebuilt some, but the crab house is there. I sold crabs there.
Yeah.
I sold them to Swede down a little bit further, you know.
Yeah.
Over to Gloucester to Jenkins, Benny Belvin and King. Joe King.
Right.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah.
They're all gone. And I'm still here.
Yeah, I know it. That's right. But look, you was always good to people. You know, you were a good person, and you know, it was paying off. You know, you're getting a reward now.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, I certainly enjoyed my work. Yeah, I really did.
I ain't never seen you be unkind to anybody. You know.
No. I never mistreated nobody I know.
I know it.
Yeah.
But so you were talking about working with Arthur Thomas, Captain Arthur on the Catherine.
Yeah, with him. Like I say, we left out of Back Creek on a Monday morning and go over to the bay, dredge crabs, and go in Cape Charles. That's why we're in there. Never come back no more till that Saturday.
Y'all just stayed right on the boat.
Stayed right on the boat, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the most boats that I saw in my lifetime come from Tangier Island. And their boats was painted up and looked like yachts. I mean, they was absolutely well. They got the most good shape.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then back when we first started, we didn't have pot pullers. You had to pull by hand.
Yeah, I know.
That.
Yeah, I was the pot puller.
You worked with your daddy.
I was the pot puller then.
Well, I'm going to ask you something. Was it your daddy fell off the deck of his boat right at the dock one time? And I think your sister was there. Was her name Ruth?
Ruth was his sister.
I mean his sister, yeah.
Now, I don't know anything about that.
Well, you probably did. I bet
that was way before me.
But it seemed like Ruth was there. And your daddy accidentally slipped off the bow of the boat because he had just painted the decks and was slick. And he fell down in the water up to about here, you know.
Right.
And I think your daddy's sister says, no, he says, well, maybe I've been dead, drowned, and got it over with. She said, Todd, don't talk like that. Don't talk like that.
I know when we used to tie up to the shore, they had, if you was on the other side from the barge, they had them pilings there that held the boat off from the concrete.
Yeah.
You know, we had a little board that we would step across to get over there.
Yeah.
And when I just started, I started when I was 6, so I was little.
Yeah.
And I stepped on that board to go over, and that slipped off the boat, and there I went, splash, you know. And
well, I'm going to tell a little story on you.
Oh, I know that's coming. But look.
All the watermen had a box that put the bait in it.
A bait box, yeah.
My gill net was loaded. I said,
y'all were sitting there picking bunkers out then.
I said, Sonny, if you help me pick these in the back and dump them over in that box, I'll give you all you want to go crabbing with. He said, okay. And we looked, and you was walking around the edge of that box. I think it was a 2x4 on the side of it.
Yeah.
And you accidentally slipped, and you went up the boat. He had that bait. your daddy said, Alfred, don't you think he's got enough bait without you falling into that?
I fell backwards in there.
Yeah.
But look, I'm glad it was fresh bunkers y'all just thrown in there.
Yeah.
Look, if that had been some bloody salt brine, been in there a couple of days, man, that'd been something, wouldn't it?
Well, you didn't hurt yourself.
No, I landed on them fresh bunkers. I was fine.
No, that was
Yeah.
But I enjoyed working with Swede and on
Yeah.
the boats and all. I don't know boats weren't the best in the world, but I enjoyed it. I really did. Mm-hmm.
I love crab dredging. That was great.
Yeah. But nowadays, crabs go sky high. Bushel basket crabs cost you a pile of money now.
Yeah. But see, people upset and complaining because you can't catch crabs like you used to.
Yeah.
But if you could, you couldn't get them picked.
That's right, yeah.
So, I mean, getting more for fewer bushels is just as good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it still can be a struggle at times, but, you know, that's just as good as catching a boatload and, you know, because you can't get them picked now. That's the problem.
Yeah, I caught up with my daddy boatloads, and we would bring them into Mr. Eddie Crockett's dock. It was an old barge that turned that into a dock where you could have a cooler in there and put stuff in there.
Yeah.
And bait, and I really enjoyed all that.
I got a picture of Eddie Crockett's fish house there. With Granddaddy's there shoveling ice. They're culling the fish and putting them into boxes.
What's your daddy's name? Granddaddy's name? Ellis.
Yep, Ellis Holston. That's him.
Okay. I remember Swede, I call him. He gave me a job going out and get the picker to come down. He furnished me an old truck, a station wagon, something I think it was. And anyway, I'll get back to the story here in a minute. Let's see. Get the bunkers and you fell in there. And I said, Lord, I hope he didn't hurt himself, you know.
No, I was fine.
But anyway, from then on, Tom Orchard, James and George River, and I think did you put a rig on it for clam targets at one time? You done that. Mm-hmm. And
you remember tongue and oysters with Daddy around York Point?
Oh yeah.
Using 22s and 24s.
Yeah, we went into Bendis Creek and James Wolver. He bought some that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I lay in my bed some nights and think about can't call people's names, and so sometimes I wonder if I'm getting Alzheimer's or whatever. I was married, had two marriages. First wife and I got married, and I think it was in '47, I believe. And she passed away in '95. At what year was that? '95.
She was 70 years old.
Yeah. And then I remarried again in 2 more years, and she wound up in a nursing home with dementia.
Right.
She was a fine lady. And I guess right now that we're about 2 remaining children here right now. They are helping me. I mean, I'm not wanting for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If I give her a list, some things I want, she comes back with 5 times more.
I hear that.
They ain't home stocking up.
Look, they love the Daddy. They gonna take care of
She's a
you.
good cook too.
I hear that. Oh
She's
boy.
all-time
They
baby.
all seen up James River in the 70s.
Yeah.
Catfish. Sold them to Menzel.
Right.
And they had to stop hauling because there was so many rockfish and you couldn't keep them because of the keep-on.
Right.
So boat was loaded to the washboards with, catfish. That was back in the 70s.
So this is George. This is Alfred's son. This camera's trying to focus. It's jumping in and out. That's why I was looking at it, trying to figure out what it was doing. But so for you all watching, that's what's going on. The phone's acting up. But this is George Owens, Alfred's son. You worked with him for a right good while, and
20 years.
Yeah, and then bought the boat and worked it yourself. Right. And you want to share anything about that, or?
Just a lot of good memories from growing up in Dandy and working on the water and all the things you would see, the the most beautiful sunrises you've ever seen in your lifetime coming up.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I tell people ain't nothing like breathing that fresh salt air and getting that salt water. I mean, salt's a preservative, you know.
Just something you don't realize how nice it is until you do it.
Yeah, right. I know it.
Appreciate that life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ended a career, you know, I ended up in four walls staring at them in an office, and I hated that. I'm telling you that right now. So,
Well, Alan, I had a nice car for a Toyota, didn't have but 72,000 miles on it. And they taught me to driving, and I don't regret that a bit. They said, we'll take you wherever you want to go.
yeah.
They do that. Then I left a couple of grass on a lawnmower. Got a nice lawnmower back there riding more.
Right.
They said, Daddy, I'll cut your grass. You do that. I'll do the weeding and want you to try the lawnmower. But they didn't want me to do that. But I did do it a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, when the grass is growing a lot, it rains so much, and he cuts the thing with the weeding. He does things like that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Two wonderful children.
Now, look, you said you're going to turn 95 when?
This December the 6th.
December 6th.
1927.
I hear that.
1927.
That's good. That's great.
But like I told you, I think I'm the oldest living one right now that was born and raised in that. There's Riggins and Williams and all like that.
I believe you
They're
are.
real close.
I believe you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know much more to tell you, but if you ask me whatever you want.
About all those boatloads of fish you and your daddy brought in down there to Dandy.
Go down.
When you and your daddy were haul sailing all the spot and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Most of them we sold them down to Mr. Eddie Crockett. Travis Crockett remarried my mother after his wife died.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a fine man. And then there was John Crockett.
Right.
And they had some sisters. So anyway, I've got good neighbors over here, good neighbors over there.
Right.
I'm very, very thankful for all of that.
Well, John Crockett owned a Jeanette back in the day.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, it was his daddy's boat.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. But he ended up with it.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know when we were working Kingfish, you know, Eddie had it at one time, Eddie Crockett, but Horace Hansford owned it for a while too.
Yeah.
And Horace is my cousin, you know,
Yeah.
because my grandma's a Hansford.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't know he had owned a boat when I was working on it and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Sure
but now I'm learning all the history and connecting the dots, you know.
Yeah.
But I all the time thinking about Michael Huckabee.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, Harry White and High Pocket and Dabney Hudgens and, you know, Lang and Ed and Jim, huh?
Mosey.
Yeah, Moses.
Yeah, he's a minister now.
I hear that.
I heard that. Did you take up minister to be a minister?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you still are?
Not actively right now, but I was,
Yeah, well, that's good.
I mean, to me, it seems like life goes in seasons, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I would never do it again, but I mean, right now I'll help somebody with a wedding or a funeral or something like that. But yeah. So out of all of it, did you have something that was your favorite?
Yeah.
I mean, did you enjoy haul seine most, or crab potting, or dredging crabs, or was there a favorite?
I love that. Yeah.
Which one did you like the most, Eddie?
I think the haul seine fishing was good. Yeah. But we call boatloads. I mean, boatloads of croaker, spot, whatever, you know.
So you got a favorite story from haul seine?
Well, I made some big money, and it learned me a whole lot. And my daddy, he learned me a lot, and his brother also, maybe Harry White.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I told you, he came. We went up to where the power plant's built up there right there, and we mostly caught catfish up there. That's what we call a pass.
Right. I hear that. Well, is there anything you'd like to tell these young watermen out there today? You got some words of wisdom for them or anything?
Well, no, I don't know. They're good workers, and they're, like I say, they're ready to take care of me. And how about you, Judy? You got anything?
I just got memories from what you've shared in your lifetime, Dad, telling us about things. Perhaps you can share with them the story about the time you remember seeing the York River when it froze over and was solid ice. Can you tell about that story?
What down?
When York River froze over back in the 30s,
Did what down?
when York River was froze over,
Oh, yeah. The ice come down from West Point.
Right.
Come down from West Point. We didn't have we had ferry boats there then. That's all we had.
Uh-huh.
And I remember my daddy said it went all down past Goodman's Island, and he went over there and some other guys. That ice was thick enough. They were scrapping up lumber, all drift lumber they could find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But maybe I should get into details about I operated a tugboat.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the first bridge was built there, a man came down from Texas, I believe it was. He had a steel hull. The boat was named the East Wind. And then somebody recommended me as a waterman.
Mm-hmm.
And this man that came down, and his wife was on the boat with him.
Right.
She was a cook.
Mm-hmm.
And then they recommended me as a waterman. He said, we having two 45-foot steel hull tugboats built in the harbor of Baltimore, right where that stadium is at right now.
Right.
So his wife took me and him up, and we spent the night in Baltimore at a hotel.
Right.
Okay. We left out of Baltimore Harbor, I think it was around about 4 o'clock in the morning, and one of the tugboats, he drove that. Pulled the one I was going to get, just identical like it, and a barge behind that. And we wound up in Yorktown the next morning at the same time, 4 o'clock.
I hear that.
From there on, I had a deckhand.
Mm-hmm.
And my job was mostly on the second shift.
Uh-huh.
And if they wanted a barge put in place for the next day, and if it wasn't more than my boat would handle, then I took up and got that so when the workmen come to work.
Right.
At 11 o'clock, when they got ready to go off tonight, they come with the toolboxes on, and they would all get up to the bow of the boat, and I had the spotlight shining on them. And I said, some of y'all go down the rail down the back. Get them my way so I can see where to get to.
Yeah.
And I put the bow of that boat right up to that dock. And didn't have to put no line out because I pressured that minute reel
right.
until they got off.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that work.
Right.
And I stayed there with them till that job was all finished. And they said, we're going to another bridge somewhere down in Carolina. Would you like to go down there? And I said, no, thank you. My children are small, and I ain't going to leave them. What are y'all, 4 or 5 years old?
Probably so, Dad.
And but I enjoyed it.
Look, you were probably like 6 years old in the storm of 33. Do you remember anything about it?
Yeah, I got to tell you that. I'm glad you mentioned that. In 1933, August flood, they called it.
Right.
1933. I was born in 27. And the bridge that they first built was put up piece by piece.
Mm-hmm.
Put up. The next bridge they built later on, that was floated in there on a barge and lifted right up.
Right.
But then we took the boats, me and a couple more of my friends that was, we went down to between the harbor going into the western branch, they called it down there then. And they told us they would continue paying us a salary, $75 a week though.
Right.
And then we stayed there, and all we had to do is some scraping on the metal and paint and things like that, you know.
Right.
And I could have traveled on with them like they were small. I said, I'm not going to leave them.
Well, what do you remember about the storm of '33?
Okay. The 1933, in my yard, the water would take you up to here.
Wow.
Right here.
And that was,
Daddy and his brother and somebody else were getting the pigs up. The pigs were swimming all around.
right.
And most of that water came from the York River, because my home that I had, my dad had, you could look out the kitchen window in the York River.
Right.
But in August of '33, water would take you up to here in my yard.
Wow.
And that's at West Road we had.
A lot of boats ended up on the shore, didn't
No, not like that in North Carolina. No.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe some smaller ones, you know.
Right.
Yeah, smaller.
Right.
People didn't have enough big boats in.
they? And if the storm was coming, they'd take them up Back Creek and tie them to a tree, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I've done that. Me and my dad had done that one time.
All right.
The Hazel,
Uh-huh.
Hazel. I don't think you.
Nah, I won't born
Hey,
you.
That was a terrible storm.
Yeah.
Terrible storm.
Well, we've been on here quite a while, and we've really enjoyed talking with you, and appreciate you sharing.
Well,
And
you're very welcome.
so, is there any last words of wisdom before we stop?
I can say, I mentioned it to you, I enjoyed my life, and most of it was being tongue and oysters and dredging crabs and all that kind, you know. I just loved it. I loved the water. I wish I could get back in to do it again.
Yeah, I hear you. That's right. So,
I could know one thing you might want to share, Alan, is the history of this bell.
Oh, yeah.
all
Can you
right.
tell the history of this bell up here, Dad?
Yeah.
Tell Alan and the people about
Okay.
this bell.
Yeah, my dad's boat was built up the head of the creek from where Betty Belvin's dock.
Right.
That's where my dad's workboat was built, right up there.
Uh-huh.
And that bell, I remember when maybe I was 5 or 6 years old or more than that. Dad and them would go out and put the fish in what we call a pocket.
Right, yeah, I
Bed
understand.
them up in there.
Mhm.
He said, you sit on that engine box and play with that bell, ring it much as you want. But you sit there, don't you get off that box.
Now, how old is this bell, you told us?
I would say right now, Judy, I would say it's at least 75 years old or older, maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe older.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hear that.
yeah.
Well,
Tongue and oysters was a hard work too.
sure. Mm-hmm.
Then the boat your daddy had, last time I seen it was over there down in the low part of Guinea. Down there was a marina there. I think they were might have doing some work on it. But I guess that old boat's gone by now.
That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Floyd Thomas said a long time ago that she was
Yeah.
gone. He said they burned her up.
I remember when it was built.
Yeah, yeah,
Mr. Velvet over there.
yeah. Old man Johnny Bell.
Old man Johnny, and
They-
he had a brother named Enoch.
I think they called him Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now his mother was to call her Miss Pinky,
Okay.
because when we come in with some fish, she'd be there with a bucket.
Uh-huh.
And she tell my dad, Mr. Alfred, you got any hogfish today? I know them hogfish. She said, Johnny knows them hogfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that. Well, they were the days back then. Things were sure different.
Yeah, yeah, but nowadays they got some nice looking boats.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yep. But see, they're all starting to go to fiberglass.
Everything now is fiberglass.
The wooden dead rise costs so much to maintain, and you can't get good wood. You know, it's hard to find good fasteners or anything.
Let me show you this picture here.
All right.
I see where you got a bucket of nails from Arthur Thomas.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Okay, that's me my daddy to the left,
Right.
and that's me in the middle.
Uh-huh.
My mother and my two sisters.
All right.
All of them are gone. In fact, this youngest one, she just died 2 days before Christmas this year gone by.
Wow. Well.
And this is me and my two sisters coming at a church dead.
Right.
And this is my youngest, Faye Owens, and but after one just died this Christmas, and that's Llewellyn, is it?
Mm-hmm. That's his sister-in-law's sister.
All right.
Okay.
Well, they've got a table full of pictures here, and we're going to scan them. We're going to make a post out of them. But you know, we've really enjoyed talking with you. We've had you on here for quite a while, so I want to thank you and tell you that you've made my week. You know,
Well,
I've been wanting to come see you for a long time.
Well,
So
you're welcome to come anytime you want. Come see me.
yeah. So you know, I appreciated working with you on the kingfish, and then you took to Jeanette, and you know, it was great. You know, those were good times.
Yeah,
So.
I remember your dad telling me one time, he said the best thing about this boat, they put a new deck onto it.
Yeah.
The deck, so the rest of those boats, all she would do was leak a lot.
Right. But the deck was the strength of her.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh. That's it. Well, she's gone. Kingfish is gone.
Yeah.
Daddy's gone. But we're glad you're still here with us.
And your mother doing all right?
Yeah, well, Mom's doing
How's
good.
your mother there?
She's 84.
84.
Uh-huh. Yep. Daddy would have been 89. He was 79 when he passed.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, again, we're going to say thank you. And we appreciate all y'all that were watching this time. And people going to enjoy seeing this, Alfred. And
Yeah,
so,
well, Dan, if you ever ride through that, it ain't like it used to be.
oh, I know.
What they got now? They say doctors and lawyers.
Oh, yeah.
You build mansions.
Yeah.
Mansions,
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you know what it looks like if you go through there.
But Bodie's still there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, they're old fashioned. Like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, his wife died, and some of his brothers died. They all of them died.
Well, Bodie's wife is still alive, but Jim and all his wife and all of them have passed.
I thought Bodie's wife died.
No.
His wife hasn't died.
No, she's still, Linda's still,
Okay.
she's doing good.
Okay, her name was Edith.
That was
No,
Jim's
that's
wife.
Jim's wife. That's Bodie's daddy.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, I'm going to say thank you, and we're going to go ahead and sign off here, and it's been a real pleasure. We've
Okay.
really enjoyed it,
We
really-
enjoyed having you over here.
and we really appreciate it. So,
Okay, you're very welcome.
all right, thank you.